Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Okay.
Hey, Lita.
Okay, I'd like to call the Committee on Ordinance public hearing Monday, July 27, 2020 at 5 p.m. to order. Madam Clerk, would you kindly read the roll?
Chairwoman Ryan,
Present.
Vice Chairwoman Hill,
Present.
Councilman Narducci,
Yeah.
Councilwoman Harris,
Present.
Councilwoman Miller,
Present.
Vice President Ralph.
Thank you very much. I'd like to recognize our wonderful clerks with me running this meeting, Tina Mastriani and Melissa Perdomo. I'd also like to recognize we have our city solicitor, Etty Schwab, with us this evening. So thank you very much. I'd like to take an item out of order before we begin. Item number 5. May I have a motion to take item number 5 out of order?
Motion made.
Motion made by Councilman Narducci, seconded by Councilwoman Castillo. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Motion passes. Okay. Madam Clerk, could you read item 5 into the record?
Petition from Edward Small, President, Mark Princeton Hotel Group, LLC, requesting a zone change for the property located at 201-217 Angel Street, Providence, Rhode Island, 02906, Census Plat 13, Lot 52, 53, and 55, from RP to C2.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Azar, could you kindly tell us where we are with this petition?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the committee, thank you, Robert Azar, Department of Planning and Development. This is a petition that was filed in conjunction with a major land development project for a hotel proposed at the corner of Angel Street and Brook Street. And this land development project requires a zoning change in order for the hotel to be built. And that's what you have before you right now. The City Plan Commission approved what's called the master plan, or the first stage of development of the hotel, and also made a recommendation in favor of granting the zoning change, recommendation to you. This matter was advertised, but meanwhile, an appeal was filed of the master plan approval. And because under state law, when an appeal is filed, all activities in furtherance of the development project are stayed pending the appeal being heard. Right now, that appeal is scheduled to be heard, I believe, on August 20th by the zoning board. So until such time, the city council is not permitted under state law to advance this zoning change because it would be in furtherance of the development project.
Thank you. Etty, could you kindly opine, could you give us some guidance on this?
Yeah, certainly. Mr. Azar's comments and analysis are accurate, and I believe it's made in conjunction with, or in consultation with our zoning expert in our office, Senior Assistant Solicitor Dinnerman. our recommendation would be that this matter would be continued, or should be continued to some date certain after the appeal, which I believe would be some date on or after August 20th. So if this could be continued to some date after that, that should allow this committee some time, or at least the appeal to resolve itself, so that any additional hearings on this would be appropriate.
Okay. Any questions from the committee? Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate that explanation. I think I'd like to entertain a motion to take continue item 5 until a date specific, and the clerk has looked at dates that we could basically hear this matter after it is completed or goes through that appeal cycle of September 16th. So I'd like to continue this matter. Motion to continue until date specific September 16 at 5 p.m. Motion made by Vice Chair Castillo, seconded by
Councilman Narducci.
Second.
Councilman Narducci. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Okay, let's start now at the top. Madam Clerk, could you kindly read item 1 into the record?
In order to the amendment of Chapter 27 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Providence, entitled the City of Providence Zoning Ordinance, moved November 24, 2014, as amended to change certain text in Article 18 regarding notice of requirements.
Okay.
Madam Chair, if I may, please. She's
Councilman Narducci, yes.
the clerk is breaking up as she's reading.
You didn't hear that? She's breaking up?
Yeah, especially in the
Okay.
beginning.
Okay.
Thank
You
you.
want to try that? Read that, please, again?
In order to the amendment of Chapter 27 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Providence, entitled the City of Providence Zoning Ordinance, approved November 24, 2014, as amended to change certain text in Article 18 regarding notice of requirements.
Did you hear that?
That was better, thank you.
Thank you very much for reading it again. Okay, Mr. Azar, could you kindly explain this item to us, item 1? What are we trying to accomplish here?
Yes, this would modify a certain section of the zoning ordinance regarding how notice is given for hearings of the zoning board, the Downtown Design Review Committee, and the 195 Redevelopment District Commission. Right now, there is a requirement that says that for each item that comes before one of these bodies, the city council representative of the applicable ward gets notice. The proposal is to change that to say that said notice is to be delivered to the city council representative by the city sergeant. And then there's one additional amendment later down in that same section that says that mailed notice shall be translated in accordance with section 2-15 of the city code of ordinance. What that does is it cross-references another section of the code of ordinances outside of zoning, so that everybody who's administering this document knows that there is a translation requirement, both for notices actually that get posted in the newspaper and then notices that get mailed out. That has been a requirement all along, but since it wasn't in zoning, I think it was overlooked by certain newer staff within the city. So when the City Plan Commission reviewed this, they found that it was appropriate both to make both of these changes so that members of the City Council can get adequate notice in a timely fashion, and also that abutters get translated notice as well as notice in English.
Do you have a CPC letter to be added to this?
I do, yes, and since the CPC took this up last Tuesday, we just got those letters mailed to the clerk this afternoon, but I'm looking at the letter signed by our administrative officer from the CPC recommending that to approve the amendment.
Is that sufficient to enter into?
I can actually share the screen. He said he did email them to me. I can try to share the screen.
Why don't we share the screen, because we need to enter that into the record. Thank you, Mr. Azar.
Yep. I could do that too, Tina. I have it up if it'd be easier.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Then please share about.
Madam
Okay.
Chair,
Councilwoman Castillo, you have a question?
no, I don't have a question, I have a comment. My comment is,
Vice Chair, yes? Froze, does she know that? Councilwoman Castillo, if you can hear us, you froze. I don't know if you can come back in. Are you there? We hear a little girl.
I made it because they make business charges they want to do in my neighborhood. So yes. You don't heard me? Have you heard me better now?
Okay, Councilwoman, we lost you. Let us go through the CPC letter. Please, okay, so we've got a July 22nd letter to the Committee on Ordinances, and it is, I can't read over Tina's head. Okay. Findings of fact. Please walk us through this and take me out of my pain here, Bob.
Yes, happy to do so. Very simply, as I described where the change would be and what it would do, and the CPC has to make findings that this complies with the comprehensive plan and also with the purposes of zoning, and they made positive findings with respect to both of those. And then their recommendation was a unanimous recommendation that the City Council approve the proposed amendment.
Okay. May I have a motion to accept this CPC letter into the record?
Motion made.
Motion made by Councilman Narducci, seconded by Deputy
Second.
Majority Leader Harris. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. The letter is admitted. Do we have, Councilman Castillo is back. Vice Chair, we just accepted the letter, the CPC letter into the record, but you have a comment that you'd like to make. Please tell us what you're thinking, if you can. Okay,
The reason
perfect.
I made that, because that happened in my neighborhood can happen in every neighborhood.
She didn't get notice in her neighborhood.
You know, when people is found, then they can, and they appoint us. And sometimes, you know, we really don't know what happened, because that happened in my neighborhood and I don't receive that letter. And that's why I believe, you know, that has helped every city council to see what's going on and when they want to make any change in the neighborhood. And that happened and that were nice and acceptable. And that's why that's us give the prevention to don't happen in other neighborhoods. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair. You broke up a little bit, but for your comments are very important. And what I heard you say, and I want to make sure that everybody on this meeting hears, and it's a matter of the record, that it is important that council people be noticed when there's major projects, particularly in your ward, so that you can make sure that you speak to your residents and make sure they understand the development, what the nature of it is, so that you can properly advocate for your residents. And I think that's what the message that you're trying to make. I think this change accomplishes that, appropriate notice requirements. And does anyone else have any thoughts, questions, concerns, or comments on this?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
If it's okay
Majority
with,
Leader.
Say that again. Okay.
Majority Leader.
Oh, okay. We're getting a little stuck. If it's okay with the sponsor, I'd like to co-sponsor.
Absolutely.
So noted.
Kind of getting into a meeting and away from the. I've seen Councilman Espinal, Councilman Narducci, co-sponsor, requiring co-sponsors, and Miller. Might as well throw Ryan in.
I actually have a comment, Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes.
Yes, I actually raised my hand with my colleague, Councilwoman Castillo, was having difficulties with the audio. And I think I became a co-sponsor when I learned about this, what had transpired in her ward. There was a major development happening and she was not notified, or somehow she did not get the notice. So that's when she decided to put this together. And I felt that it was critically important gaining her support and supporting her to carry this forth, as it is critical that we council people be made that we're notified in order so that we can convey the message to our constituency and to have input. So I like to thank the CPC for also seeing it that way, and the rest of the council colleagues. And again, I want to thank Councilwoman Castillo for bringing about such an important amendment to this ordinance. Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Councilwoman Castillo.
So we're kind of crossing barriers here. We're coming up with our own creative meeting. This is a public hearing, so we are trying to take, is any member of the public urged to speak on this matter? Madam Clerk, do we
According
have?
to my list, Madam Chair, I have had no one sign up to speak on this particular matter.
Okay. Then we move to the next matter. Okay, Madam Clerk, could you read item 2 into the record?
An ordinance and amendment of zoning ordinance section 1202, principal use standards, amending paragraph EE, compassion center, cultivation center.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have a CPC attached to this.
Yes, but I believe there's an updated CPC letter from Mr. Azar.
Okay. Bob, why don't you start us off, give us an explanation, and we need an updated letter for the record.
Yes.
Go ahead, Bob, you have the floor.
Okay. Thank you. All right, this is an ordinance that was sponsored by Councilman Narducci. I believe Councilman Igliozzi joined on this, and it relates to the zoning for compassion centers and cultivation centers. That's a use group within our zoning ordinance that allows for the growing and retail sale of medical marijuana. And right now we allow this use in a couple of different zones, the M1 zone by right and the C3 zone by permit. And we do have a number of regulations governing how these uses can, and the amendment would further restrict the use by specifying that compassion or cultivation centers can't be within 3/4 of a mile of another compassion center or cultivation center, and they can't be located within 1,000. And when we brought this to the City Plan Commission the first time, they felt like they wanted to see what the impact would be. So we created a map that showed where these are currently allowed, and then also showing what the impact of this regulation would be. And it definitely cut down the amount of property that was available in the city, but there were still, I believe, upwards of 100 acres of land in the city that would be available for this.
Do you have
So
the
the City
map?
Plan Commission was satisfied that this. Yes, I do. And if you bear with me for, I apologize, I don't have it at my fingertips, but I will.
That's okay.
I'll be able to pull it up momentarily. I'll try to keep talking while I'm Plan Commission did review
How about-
this.
How about we take a little stress off of you, Mr. Azar? Councilman Narducci, you're a sponsor. Would you like to say anything on this topic? Or are you okay at this point?
I think I would hold my comments until the
Okay.
meeting itself, Madam Chair.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
So Bob, you're on the spot.
Okay, well, I was able to locate the
In
map.
order. I'd like to take this opportunity to interrupt you, Mr. Azar, to recognize that our council president, Sabina Matos, has joined our meeting. Bob, take it away.
Okay, so I'll zoom in momentarily here. What you're going to see is that we have 5 different compassion and cultivation centers in the city, and those are indicated by these green crosses. So you'll be familiar with the Slater Center on Corliss Street near the post office. That's the one actual compassion center we have, which can dispense medical marijuana. The other ones are cultivation centers where the cultivation of marijuana is allowed. And so what this is showing is the purple M1 zone where the use is allowed, and also the red C3 zone where the use is allowed by special use permits. We've mapped out all the schools with the 1,000-foot buffer, and we've mapped out the compassion and cultivation center with the 3/4 mile buffer. And what you see left that's not hatched is certain areas up here in the north end where it would still be allowed, some little spots of C3, a little bit in the Valley neighborhood, a little bit down in the the Huntington Park. So as you can see, it definitely takes away a fair amount of land, but it does leave also some land within the city. And so when the City Plan Commission reviewed this, and when they heard the testimony of Councilman Narducci, they felt satisfied that this was a reasonable regulation that would advance public safety, health and welfare. And they wrote a revised letter to you stating that they are now recommending in favor of this. And if you'd like, I can show you that letter as well.
Please. The letter that is attached to this matter is recommending further study from the CPC. So that's
Yes.
been amended. Gotcha. Okay.
Yes, so I will now share with you this new letter here. I believe it is this one right here, July 27th, and referencing this item, making certain findings with respect to the map that I just showed you, and then talking about the discussion. We also had Sean Bouchard from the council office attend, who helped me. We went back and forth on some of the language in this, and then ultimately the commission voted 6 yes votes and 1 abstention, recommending approval of the amendment, finding it in conformance with the comprehensive plan and the purposes of zoning.
Okay. Let's first, may I have a motion to enter the CPC letter dated, I think I said July 27th to the Ordinance Committee on 2-page letter recommending approval. May I have that motion? Motion made
Madam Chair.
by Councilman Narducci, seconded by Vice Chair Castillo. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. The letter is attached. Okay. So, committee members, anybody have any questions, concerns, thoughts on this matter? No? Okay. Do we have anyone to speak that would like to speak?
Madam Chair, I have had no one to sign up to speak about this matter either.
Okay. Okay, that matter is closed. moving to item 3. Madam Clerk, could you read that item into the record?
An ordinance and amendment of Chapter 27 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Providence entitled The City of Providence Zoning Ordinance, approved November 24, 2014, as amended to change the official zoning map for Plat 32, Lot 314, 1192 Westminster Street.
Okay. Ms. Reyes, please tell us what's happening with this one.
Okay, and I'll share my screen on this one as well, so you can see the petition. This is a petition. Actually, it was an ordinance that was introduced by Councilwoman Miller on behalf of the property owner.
I think we lost them.
Bob, are you there? Bob?
Owner, the West Broadway Neighborhood Association, specifically the zoning district of this one. It's at the corner of Westminster Bridge, both dwelling units and professional district that allows for residences. The desire is to change it to C2, which is neighborhood commercial zoning. And my understanding is that the purpose for this change is the owner there's currently a detached garage. They want to convert that into a dwelling unit for affordable housing. In the residential professional district, we don't allow more than one principal building on a lot, so that would not be allowed under the RP, but it is allowed under the C2 zoning. District Street, right across Bridgham on Westminster. In fact, a lot of Westminster Street is zone C2, so changing this would be a very simple matter of just bringing the C2 zone over to encompass this lot here. So this was brought before the City Plan Commission, and they submitted a letter. I believe you have this one in your records because it was submitted on June 30th. Honey, I can also, so that you can
have it. We have it in our packages, Ms. Azar. So let me just break. Let me just break for a second, Mr. Azar. We do have the CPC letter attached to this item. We have to add it, however, hasn't been added into the record. So I'm holding a letter dated June 30th from the CPC regarding referral 3472, petition to rezone 1192 Westminster Street from R3 to C2. The petitioner is the West Broadway Neighborhood Association. Based on this letter, unanimously voted to recommend that the council approve the proposed zone change based on the findings of fact as presented in the letter. Okay, do we have anyone else here that would like to speak tonight on this matter? Who does?
Council President.
Council President, I understand you would like to speak.
Actually, Leader Ryan, I just wanted to say to Bob that we cannot hear everything that he says. I don't know if he can connect using his phone instead of his computer, because it was part of what he said that I couldn't hear. Thank you.
Council President, I'm sorry, we can't hear what you're saying.
That's because I'm connected with my computer also. So I was saying that since Bob is doing the presentation, it was really hard to hear what he was saying. If he could connect his audio through the phone instead.
Okay, thank you, Council President. Bob, would you like to give us that explanation again? You did break up a couple of times, but I do believe we heard much of what you said, but let's give it a go.
Yeah. I apologize for that. I will If I get a moment, I'll try to connect through my phone, but it looks like right now my connection is stable. I was seeing a couple times that it said it was unstable. Can you hear me clearly right now?
I can hear you clearly right now. Speak fast.
Thank you. Okay, yeah, while I have a stable connection. Yes, so very simple matter of pulling a zoning line over one lot to encompass a property to allow for the development effectively of affordable housing on this property. And the City Plan Commission was unanimously in favor of it.
Okay. Who would like to speak on this matter? Do we have anyone signed up?
Yes, Madam Chair, I am going to admit Carrie Lang.
Okay, Carrie Lang.
Ms. Lang?
Hello?
Hello. Could you please state your name and address for the record and whether you're for or against this?
Yes, my name is Kari Lang. I'm the Executive Director of the West Broadway Neighborhood Association located at 1560 Westminster Street, Providence, Rhode Island. And I am the applicant. We are asking for this change. First of all, I'd like to say hello, Madam Chair and members of the Ordinance Committee. Thank you for the time tonight. It is affordable housing is something that the neighborhood has said is very important to them. It is very important to all of us here at the WBNA, the Neighborhood Association. And we have a 2-bay garage at this unit. And it occurs to us that that is could be converted into affordable housing. So we are very excited in pursuing we're going to be pursuing home funds in the next round, but we are very excited about the idea of converting this 2-bay garage into a studio apartment that's handicapped accessible and could be affordable housing for a housing voucher recipient.
Wonderful. Anything else?
I'm happy to take any questions, but I don't feel like I have anything else.
Okay, so we're going to have a meeting on the rise, and at that point, if there are any questions from the committee, that would be the appropriate time to ask them. But I thank you very much for your presentation. And we're going to see who else would like to speak this evening on this matter.
Madam Chair, I am going to be admitting Cynthia Langlick.
Okay.
Cynthia, if you can hear me, please state your name and address for the record and whether you're for or against this matter.
Yes, good evening, Commissioners. My name is Cynthia Langlick, and I live at 180 Carpenter Street, and I am in favor. I have no substantive information to add beyond what Kari noted for you all. I will say that each property across the street from this property is in the C2 zone. So just north across the street is in C2, just east across the street is the C2 zone, and northeast diagonally across is the C2 zone. So as mentioned previously, it's a minor change, I would say.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Anyone else, Madam Clerk?
Madam Chair, I have Jonathan Woolsey, but I do not see him on the attendee side.
Jonathan, are you there?
If you're here, please raise your hand. Aside from him, Madam Chair, that is all that's signed up for item number 3.
Okay. Okay, so that concludes discussion on testimony, on item 3. Let us move to item 4. Madam Clerk, could you kindly read the item into the record?
Petition from Diana Ishan and Emily Migliaccio for Bank of Me and Ishan LLC at 235 Promenade Street, Suite 475, Providence, Rhode Island, 02908, requesting a zone change for the property located at Assessors Flat 58, Lot 852. otherwise known as 40 Kansas Street.
Great.
From R3 to C2.
R3 to C2. Okay. Mr. Azar, could you please give us an introduction of this matter?
Yes, the Providence Community Health Center has a piece of property with an existing building at 40 Candace Street. I'm sharing, see the map here. This is at the corner of Chalkstone Avenue and Candace Street. It's an existing building and it's zoned R3. R3 is a residential zoning district that doesn't allow for this type of use, which is a medical office. And I believe that this was allowed by zoning variance many, many years ago. And that's a practice that we're trying to get away from to have use variance. The standard in the law does not support this type of departure from the zoning ordinance. And we're trying to move towards a situation where we change the zoning map to allow for a little bit more flexibility. And in this case, they desire to add on to the building to better serve their clientele. I'm seeing again that I'm a little unstable. Let me know if you can't hear me. But zoning,
it's breaking up a little bit, but we can hear you and we certainly understand you. So please continue.
Okay, so this zoning change would not only legalize the existing use, but it would allow them to add on to the parcel, onto the property. And that the addition to this is the subject of a land development project that was reviewed and found to be acceptable to the City Plan Commission. They'll be making improvements to the lot, including parking and landscaping, as well as more space for the facilities. So the City Plan Commission has reviewed this and they have found, again, this project is, that zoning change is consistent with the comprehensive plan and with the purposes of zoning. We have a letter here that you should have in your files dated June 30th from the commission.
We'll take it up again and do it.
And
I'm sorry. Is this a new letter?
Yes.
Okay, so I do have a letter in front of the committee members. Let's go ahead and enter this into the record. It's dated June 30th to the Ordinance Committee, referencing referral 3475, petition to rezone 40 Candace Street from R3 to C2. Based on the findings of fact, the recommendation of the CPC was unanimous to recommend that the City Council approve the proposed zone change. May I have a motion? Motion made by Vice Chair Castillo, seconded by Councilman Narducci. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Okay, so we have that letter attached. Who do we have that would like to speak on this matter?
So, Madam Chair, the first speaker will be Ms. Migliaccio, and then she's representing PCHC, and then she'll let us know who will be speaking after her. There are a few other folks speaking, so Ms. Migliaccio, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Ken, thank you.
Great, thank you. So my name is Emily Migliaccio, and I am an attorney here on behalf of the petitioner, the Providence Community Health Centers, which we'll refer to as PCHC in this presentation. Just by way of brief introduction about the petitioner, PCHC is a nonprofit healthcare organization that has operated in the city for over 50 years. Its mission is to provide high quality and accessible healthcare regardless of cultural background, social barriers, or ability to pay. PCHC has 11 health centers in Providence and serves 60,000 patients in the city and its surrounding communities. For this project, PCHC proposes to construct a much-needed addition to one of its existing health centers, as Mr. Azar alluded to, which is located at 40 Candace Street in the Smith Hill area of Providence, and that's to meet the growing patient load at this specific site. The expansion will add just under 3,700 square feet to the existing one-story building to include some new doctor's offices. Project also proposes to add some green space, some canopy coverage, and some bicycle parking. So we're here tonight on PCHC's petition to change the zoning designation for this property from R3 residential to C2 general commercial to allow for this addition. Currently, again, as Mr. Azar said, in the R3 zone, a health center or medical facility is not a permitted use. The health center that exists today was constructed in 1974 pursuant to a use variance granted by the board in 1972. So we're looking to change the zone to match the current use that has not only provided a vital service to the area for decades, in fact, close to 45 years, but has also contributed to the character of the area, which is something that the CPC noticed when they heard this matter in June. The health center use is permitted in the C2 zone. Again, it's consistent with the type of mixed residential and commercial uses that are in the vicinity of the site, including along Smith Street to the south, and then the nearby areas of Chalkstone Avenue to the north. And also the site is located along a growth corridor, which is designated in the comprehensive plan where commercial uses are appropriate. We did, just to keep this pretty short, we did receive some relief from CPC. That's the development plan review. And that was in addition to the CPC granting the conditional relief for that and the recommendation for this petition that we have, the zone change petition. So with that, just overview and background, I would like to turn, we do have a few speakers here to testify on behalf of PCHC. First, we have Ralph Chartier, the Associate Vice President of Operations at PCHC, who will speak to the specific need for the addition at this site. And then we have the project engineers for PCHC, that's Chris Shea and Michael Wilkinson of Wood Environment and Infrastructure Solutions, who will provide a technical review of the project and then just quickly show you the site plan so you can see sort of the before and what we're looking, and the after what we're looking to do. We do also have available the David Parenti of Vision 3 Architecture, who can answer any questions should you have a question on the proposed design. He's not going to provide a presentation outright, but if you have any specific questions for him, he is available tonight. So if the committee has no further questions or no questions for me at this point, I would like to turn it over to Mr. Chartier. And I do want to just point out quickly that Michael Wilkinson, I'm not seeing him on the panelist list. I don't know if he needs to be added separately, but I know he's going to be the one that's sharing the plans.
There he is, down. Keep going. We just found him.
Thank you.
Why don't, do we want to start with Mr. Chartier? Is that your preference?
Yes, that'd be great.
Okay, why don't we start, Madam Clerk, with Mr. Chartier?
Mr. Chartier, please just state your name and your title for the record.
Hi, my name is Ralph Chartier, and I'm the Associate Vice President of Operations for Providence Community Health Centers.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for hearing us this evening. This addition, as Emily stated, will enable us to meet the growing need in that neighborhood. And with the addition, we'll be able to add about 3 new providers to the health center, which will help us serve about 6,000 additional patients at the health center. And it is an area with pretty growing unmet need. So that's why we're looking to be able to do this zone change to add this addition.
Thank you. Who else would like to speak? Do we want to go with Michael, or who wants, Emily, who else would you like to speak? What order?
Michael Wilkinson, and Chris Shea's here. I think Michael's going to be leading the presentation though.
Okay, Michael. Please introduce yourself for the
My
record.
name is Mike Wilkinson from Wood, the civil engineers for the project, and try to keep things short and sweet. I would like to share my screen.
Madam Clerk?
Please proceed.
So you should be seeing the Google Maps of the site.
We see it.
Okay, so this is just, will help me explain the existing conditions of the site. We have frontage on Chalkstone Avenue and
Could excuse me, could I impose upon you to orient us just a little bit more? Where is Smith Street in relationship to this?
Smith Street is right down here
Okay,
to the south.
gotcha. I was just having trouble recognizing where it was. I got it. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So currently, this is the roughly 8,700 square foot, one-story building, and cars enter the site via two-way access from Chalkstone or one-way access from Candace Street. One thing to note, Candace Street is one way in the northerly direction. We have 62 parking spaces currently on site, 3 of which are ADA accessible. The main pedestrian entrance is off of Candace Street, and employee entrance is to the rear. And so this is our proposed site plan. The existing building is shown encompassing this white square, and our proposed addition is shown in this yellow area here. So in proposed conditions, we have 52 parking spaces, 3 of which are ADA accessible. The main entrance is still going to be in the same area on Candace Street, and the main employee entrance will be to the rear of the building over here. One thing we changed for the site, we have...
Mr. Wilkinson, I don't seem to be seeing you navigate the map at all.
Oh, sorry, you don't see my mouse?
No.
No.
We're still on Google Maps, I think.
We were paying attention. Couldn't figure it out.
So how about now?
We're not
Is it
seeing
still-
a mouse.
Are you
Not
seeing
any.
a...
No mouse, no rodents, no.
See a couple of vans.
Maybe if you exit out of share screen for a minute and then go back in.
Yeah, let me try that. Okay, how about now?
There you go.
Oh, there
Okay.
you go.
Sorry about that. So
That's
this
okay.
is the proposed site plan. The existing building is shown here in the white square area, and the proposed building is shown in this yellow area. And we have 52 parking spaces in proposed conditions, 3 of which are ADA accessible. The main entrance for the building is maintained on Candace Street for the public, and the employee entrance will be in the back of the new addition. One thing we changed at the site, we only have one drive aisle here, two-way access to Chalkstone, and over here, we're maintaining the same exit, well, the same curb cut on Candace Street, and it's going to be turned into an exit only, which will help point cars in the northerly direction, which is the one-way direction of the street. So the site is largely resurfacing of the parking lot. So everything in white is just restriping the lot, whereas all the colored areas would be where ground disturbance is occurring. We're maintaining the existing street trees on site in an effort to conform with the canopy coverage requirements for planning. And we're also adding additional street trees. We have one on Interior Island over here and 2 along Wayne Street. These 2 along Chalkstone are the existing trees that are being relocated due to utility conflicts. And another thing to note, we added a roughly 4-foot wide landscape strip along Wayne Street. Currently, there's no landscaping strip there, so we felt this would be a nice buffer for the site, even though it is not necessarily required. And overall, we do have a slight decrease in impervious area from existing conditions to proposed. And speaking about the relief we were requesting for the built-to-zone requirement along Chalkstone, that was more necessary because it allows the existing interior layout of the building to coordinate nicely with the proposed interior layout. And it also allows us to have a nice green space over here, which can serve as, you know, an area for employees to eat lunch or converse. And I think that's all I have to present. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Not at this point, maybe at the meeting on the Rise. Anyone else, Emily, that would like to speak on this matter from your team?
That is it. I can just give a brief conclusion, I think, and then happy to answer any questions if anyone has them. So just, you know, based, again, we're looking to, PCHC is looking to construct, you know, this much needed addition to a long existing community health center located at the site. And we'll just rely on our petition materials that we submitted in advance, the CPC's positive recommendation, finding that the proposed zone change is consistent with the comprehensive plan and the purposes of zoning, and then the testimony here heard this evening. So we would respectfully ask that the council grant our petition for zoning map change.
Thank you.
Anyone
else, Madam Clerk?
No, Madam Chair, no one else signed up to speak on this matter.
Okay, so we're going to close out this item.
Close out this item.
And you want us to revisit item 3. May I have a motion to revisit item 3 from Vice Chair? There's motion made by Vice Chair Castillo, seconded by Councilman Narducci. All in favor? Aye. Ayes have it. We're revisiting this because the clerk nor I could remember whether we admitted the CPC letter, which is a requirement. So I would like, I believe we did it, but I trust my clerk. Let us entertain a motion to enter the CPC letter dated June 30th to the Ordinance Committee, unanimously recommending approval. Motion made by Vice Chair Castillo, seconded by Narducci. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Okay.
I don't know about you, Tina.
Seeing no more business before us in this public hearing, I call it closed.
Call motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, made by Vice Chair Castillo, seconded by Narducci. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. The public hearing portion is closed. We're going to turn everybody off, and I'm asking my friends to join the next meeting on the Rise, wherein the committee can ask questions on any questions that they might have, and that we can entertain votes on these items that we discussed tonight. Okay, so I'll see you in just a bit, but please come back